All right, let's start. Yeah, definitely. I think just like every year, you go through a season, you start the evaluation process. For me personally, it's been the same each and every year. You take the first, 3 days with the players, and then we obviously had a significant number of changes on our staff. So it's just really part of the evaluation and part of the next step. So I think, obviously, I think Kellen did an excellent job. If you look at the way we played over the course of the last 3 years, as a head coach, every head coach has a vision of how you want the football team to play, what they look like. Our complementary football formula, I felt was the best this year, the 3 years. I think every 3, 4, 5 years into your offense, you need to make, pretty good, not significant, but changes and adjustments, tendencies, and things like that. So I just felt this was a good time to make that change.
What will those changes look like? Blocking schemes, can you just talk about that more West Coast?
Can't even get to a game plan without you trying to find out what the hell's going on. So, yeah, let's just put it all out there. But no, really our approach so far is really going back to like day one if we all just arrived there. Obviously, we got a number of new coaches on the offense. So, yeah, we played really good offense the last 3 years. Like I said, you look at our numbers just in the run game from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. This is, I feel like we're in the arena of how we want to play. So it'll be really just building off of that. We're not looking to have more than probably 35% is kind of the number we've been hovering at, is how much change we want for the current players. So yeah, we're not looking to have wholesale changes. Say again? No. We're gonna save the language. Yeah, at the end of the day, the offensive system, the outlook is clearly on making the quarterback successful. Starting point of that is always the run game and the protections. And frankly, we have spent the majority of our time on protection and pass game right now. So have a lot of work to do. That's why we've gone the way we've gone with the coaches coming to Indianapolis. And actually, frankly, I literally just came from the airport, so because I wasn't going to miss this for the world. But that's part of our plan. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. More philosophical. Just how it's going to apply to the training of it. I just think like all of us, the longer you do this, the less time you have. And the importance of what the players do amongst themselves, I think is critical in the off-season program. Obviously essential in that period between the off-season program and training camp. So, talking more about, the application of the changes and how we're going to move forward. Well, offensively, we've been, in the meeting room the whole time. So, we have the AM session, the PM session. We've been doing the night. At night, we did the interviews. We've been WebEx, the interviews here with the prospects. So we just wanted to keep rolling and get as much done as we could this week. I'm sorry, can you say that again? To the role?
What does he bring to the role?
Oh, I think Brian Schottenheimer brings a tremendous lot. I think just like anything, when you're putting together a staff, particularly when you have staff changes, there's a personality, a connection, being in a leadership role, bringing people together. Everybody's style is different. That's universal. I think he has incredible people skills. He has that it when it comes to bringing people together. And then the football part of it, it's been fun. I think Brian and I worked together 25 so years ago. So and it's been cool to see where he's gone with his path, and from the base teachings that we learned under his father Marty, and how things have evolved. But once again, we're not throwing everything away. I mean, we have a lot of good to build off of. Number one, with our players, the concepts have been established. It's really just our responsibility to make sure that we're clean and precise on the direction that we're going. And he brings that experience and that knowledge, to the workplace every day. How would it look differently? I don't know. I mean, just I guess we'll wait and see. But no, I just think like anything, everybody has plays, everybody has concepts. We're every player and coach. You have tendencies in this league. You're ignorant to think that you don't. And it'll be no different for myself. But it's just how you attacking the other side. So there's some things that conceptually that I'll believe in more in situational football than may have happened in the last 3 years. But let's be honest. I mean, I had all the input that I wanted the last 3 years too. So I think clearly when you look at the way Kellen coordinated in 19, just look at our run totals the last 3 years. We're a different offense in 22 than we were in 2020, and that was part of the evolution of being more balanced, more complementary football, not as wide open in the drop back, just like our drop back passing and normal down distance. So, you look at all those things. So, but I'm really looking forward to the critique from you of how different it is. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the most fun I've had since I've been in Dallas. I mean, just to be in the meeting room again with the coaches full time. We've been getting, just to go, 8 to 11:30 and break, and you've been talking nothing but, skiing. I haven't had that. So that part's different. But then, you have all these great responsibilities here that you have to keep doing, and so you got to delegate more. I mean, we have a good plan. I think doing this in year 4 is totally different than would have been doing in year 1, especially coming in with the pandemic and everything that we had year 1. I mean, but this is a yearly challenge. I think just like anything, and I've always gone about it this way. From my chair, I just don't want to go backwards. And my personal experience through draft and develop, the biggest increases in our player productivity will come from within. Our first or second year players will make improvement. That doesn't show up during the draft. Your second and third year players make improvements. So I'm counting on that. We had it last year. If you look at our last 2 draft classes, they played a lot of football early. I've been very impressed with that. So I'm hoping for gains from that, in 2023. So that part doesn't change for me. And you just want to get better. You want to add. You don't. I don't think there's ever been a coach staying up here that wants to lose any of his players, and I think that's a big part of draft and develop. I mean, players that are up for their second contract to me are a huge priority because those are guys we have an investment together. We have a commitment together, and we want to build off of that. So, but that's always the challenge of the business arena. I mean, it's a whole different arena. Every player and coach goes through it. And it's not always fun. We all get that, but this is about building the strongest 90-man roster that we possibly can, to put ourselves in a position to make a run at the title. So that part has never changed for me personally, but the specifics of it, I mean, that's what the business challenge is all about. So I mean, obviously, I don't really have anything to say there. Well, I'll tell you, a big moment for Ted Thompson and I with the development Aaron Rodgers was against the Cowboys down there on Thursday Night Football. I think it was 2007, and both teams were, I think, about 10-1. It was a big game, and Brett was hurt early in the game, and I think we were behind maybe 2 scores at that point when Aaron went in. And it was, just one of those moments where, I've been there before with Matt Hasselbeck, Aaron Brooks, and you kind of, when you hand them the ball and tell them the expectation, it was clearly we weren't changing. We didn't pull back on the game plan, and Aaron went in there and played extremely well that night. And I just do recall on the play ride home, Ted and I talking about his performance. We knew then that he was ready. So that was kind of a moment for us. But the reality of it is, you see it every day in practice. The way Aaron practiced. Ask our defensive players from 06 and 07, and they'll tell you that everybody knew that he had a chance to be a great player. Well, change is never easy. I mean, I have I have a lot of respect. I think Kellen and I are obviously on two different ends of the spectrum. As far as experience, my whole goal for Kellen, John Fossil and Dan Quinn is just from my position was to tee it up to make sure I was giving them the opportunity to grow and to be the best they could be. And I felt like I did that the last 3 years. But I think it's just like anything. You get into the evaluation process. This was no different than my last opportunity. The GM and the head coach, you sit down, you get into some deep conversations about everything that goes on in football operations. Every player, every coach. What about this? There's still emotion involved, particularly. If you look at the timing of those decisions, they happened early. So the playoff loss was still raw. But you go through those and you have conversations, and then you make tough decisions. So obviously Kellen's got a great opportunity with the Chargers. But I think the last 3 years we grew into the offense that I wanted it to be as far as the run-pass combination. And, I just feel like we'll have another variation, and hopefully we can take another step. What do you mean by that?
I mean, you being the play caller, you being the main guy, talking to him. Obviously, you kept telling because of that relationship. I don't know if you think Dak needs a new voice to take that next step. You guys just need to take it.
Well, I think, I don't see Dak talking to himself in the quarterback room, if that's what you're saying. I think, number one, that we all can use a new voice. We all can use a sense of motivation and challenge and so forth. This is a new challenge for him. These are his words. He's very excited about it. I just think, like anything, he's had a chance to go from the different variations of the offense that was in place. He's getting ready to take another turn as far as the variation of what we're getting ready to do. We're going to build it off of what he has established. My decision to stay with his concepts and so forth is still intact, because I wouldn't have did what I did in 2020 if I still didn't believe in him. And we obviously, as an organization, myself included, feel very strongly about him as our future, and we will definitely build this thing around him.
Mike, you were able to go from play Green Bay this year to play Aaron. What did you see from Aaron in that game? What did that game mean?
Well, we didn't win the game. That was disappointing. I thought Aaron played exceptionally well that night. I don't recall. I think he hit all his throws. So, it was a competitive game. But I still think Aaron's playing, top level football.
Looking at last season's draft, what are you expecting to make in the rest of the second year jump?
Well, I tell you, I think as a group, they all. We had some great first-year performances. Starting with, I don't know if Tyler Smith can play any better as a rookie. I don't know how the awards shook out, but for him to accomplish what he accomplished, I've seen Will Shields start week one against, or actually go in week one against Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1993. And I don't think he came out for 16 years. So that's a comparable I have for him, because what he did this year playing two positions, I think is unbelievable. So so he's got a great foundation to build off. I think Sam Williams, you're gonna see a jump in in his progress. Daron Bland is another one that he came on so strong at the end. So I'm looking forward to answer your question. I'm looking for all of them to take that jump. But I thought our rookies really the last 2 years play early probably you'd like, but it'll serve us well moving forward.
What's most encouraging about having Dan Quinn back in the building for this upcoming season?
Having Dan back is obviously huge for us. Because this is a professional and personal relationship that I know I hold close to my heart. So Dan's become a dear friend over the last couple of years, but as a football coach, he's outstanding. I think it also is part of why I feel very confident making this move. I think it's huge for our team. And going back to the question earlier, with these young defensive players, now being in the third year of a system, we're looking to take another step defensively.
Why do you Ryan do so well with Dan Quinn? Why is that relationship?
We're Irish, two Irish guys in the 50s. That's usually how it works. But I just think just a lot of common ideologies of how you go about the business, the professional component of it. culture, structure, all the little things that you kind of learn along the ways. You have an appreciation for what the younger generation of coaches and players bring to today's game. And Dan's a lot more hip than I am in that area. So, but yeah, I just think we have a lot of common outlooks on how you win.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Max Duggan. Did you get a chance to see much of him down the street?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what a great year TCU had, and I just love the way he plays. I mean, one thing about it, just in the games that I saw, you're never out of the game with Max, and I think that's a huge, characteristic as a quarterback you have to have in this league, because, you have to win those games. You see it every year in the playoffs. These games come down to the last series. Look at the Super Bowl. It comes down to the last series, and you have to have that quarterback that can get it done. Say again? What has he brought to the division? I think I'm just getting a kick out of his setup here. No, I think Brian has done an excellent job, obviously, with the Giants, and I think our whole division is. I think about when 2020, when three of us arrived in the division, and what it's become to today, and I mean arguably the most competitive division in the NFL, and I think Brian's he's always been a creative coach. His football team plays the right way. So I think it's definitely a division rival that I look forward to. So he's definitely, he's a playoff caliber coach in his first year. That speaks volumes. So I thought he did a heck of a job.
Given the recent successes of the rookies, how do you balance the performances this week with what you see on game film?
Well, I look at this week as really the opportunity for first impression. I think it's cool when they work out and they show their skills and so forth. But I think you, like anything as a coach, you just never get too far away from the game film when you're talk about production and performance. One thing I've always appreciated about the combine, being a quarterback coach, is the video here. I mean, you get a really good look. As they're throwing profiles, and what's nice is you have the historical comparables, and that's one of the sessions that has stayed pretty consistent on the camera angle and all the little things that you can get out of that. So those are the type of little things that you get out of this. The conversations are always important. I've been doing it by Zoom the last 2 days. Not a fan of it. So I'd rather do it in person, just because you don't get to feel the young man. You can't see the video that he's talking about. So that's the negative of not being here. But I think this is a great opportunity for these young men to make a first impression. So, and that's always held true.
All righty. Thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you.